People is pleased to present 40 Days 40 FinTechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, as it continues to lead the way in advocacy for the creation and dissemination of technology that enables financial inclusivity. The 40 Days 40 FinTechs is shining a spotlight on those that are breaking down digital barriers and bringing millions more on the continent into the transactional space and transforming their lives for the better.
True African is a FinTech. We weren't always a FinTech. The word FinTech has only come recently. But we've been in digital financial services for a long time. We started with mobile banking in 2001. Some will remember that Nile Bank, there was a bank called Nile Bank, which later became Barclays Bank after it was bought. They were the first to do mobile banking. And the mobile banking that they were doing was they were using our platform, our mobile banking platform. In those days, you could do pretty much the same things that you do today, moving money from one account to another, but only internally, purchasing airtime, paying for your electricity bills, water bills. And so, yeah, this is where we started. But most people know us more for being the first people to introduce SMS into Uganda. We had an exclusive contract with MTN in 2001. We had a website that most people used to send free SMSs to each other. So most people will remember us for that. A lot of people that we meet today in a lot of places that we go to always ask us, "You mean you guys are still around? What are you doing?" And that is largely because the services that we do today are very much in the back end. So we support banks, for example, for mobile banking. Either they will use our mobile banking platform, or they will use our integration aggregation services, which include SMS, USSD, utilities, which include, again, Umeme, Yaka, payments of water, DSTV, and a host of other services that we provide to them. In addition, we assist the commercial banks and the top microfinance institutions to move money from the bank account into a wallet, and then from the wallet into the bank account, and also enable them to provide to their clients bulk payments. And for bulk payments, it could be anything from a construction company that's got maybe 2 or 3, 4, 500 people, to an NGO that would like to pay 5,000 farmers that they are supporting in the rural areas. So yes, we support commercial banks. Currently, maybe half of the commercial banks, of the 26 commercial banks, or 25 now, since one closed recently, and maybe another 10 microfinance institutions to do the same. Over the last few years, and as is evident in the marketplace, there are a lot of companies doing payments. Now, we remain in the payments game, but then we've had to pivot and look for other areas of business for us to actually move into. And those areas are largely in credit, in microcredit. So I'll give you an example. In the southwest of Uganda, if you go to Kabale, for example, we lend to Village Savings and Loans Association, the VSLAs. We do group lending. And so we will typically give a group anywhere from 5 million to 40 million shillings. And we will lend it to them at 3% per month. They will take this money and they will then loan it to their members at 5%, giving them a spread of 2%. And in this way, we're making money, but at the same time, we are providing a social service because we're empowering them to grow their members. For example, there's a story I like to tell about an old man that we found in Kabale. So when we first started about 4 years ago, he had been waiting to get 80,000 to buy a goat. He wanted to buy a goat. And when we went and we lent, they were the first group that we lent money to, and I think we gave them 10 million shillings. This old man was able to get his 80,000 shillings. I mean, this group has about 192 members or thereabouts. And he was able to buy his goat. A year later, when I visited him, he had something like 3 or 4, 5 goats already. And if that isn't impactful, I don't know what is. So for me, that part of lending is really, really important for us. The interest rates are as low as we can do because they're unsecured, but I think that they are favorable to them. And so we and I am very proud of that particular product that we do in the credit space. Another area that we're in is in Fort Portal, where we are lending to potato farmers. But in this instance, we have an application or an app that sits on a phone that is basically a stock management tool. And this stock management tool we use to record the inputs that people, or rather the farmers, will come and get from us. So I'll give you an example. A potato farmer, we allocate about 1 million shillings per acre. And so they are entitled to come and collect pesticides. They can come and collect fertilizer. They can get a knapsack to allow them to go and spray their crops. And what happens is that at the end of the season, when this apex organization that they fall under collects their harvest and sells it to an off-taker, when they are paid, they will then deduct our share and they will pay the farmer the balance. So again, in this instance, we are creating impact. But again, it is credit that we're actually giving. And it wasn't by design. For some reason, we went to do the stock management system. We went to do the e-recording tool that we call Imara to give to groups. And somehow all of this always ends up that they need some money, that they need some credit, that they need some. So for some reason, we keep getting pushed towards the credit. And over the last 4 or 5 years, that's exactly what has happened. So I think that that's sort of becoming our flagship. If you come to urban areas, we're working with local dukas, shops, women in the market. They borrow anywhere from 200,000 to 3 million shillings. We are able to lend them this money. It is disbursed on their phone. They pay it back through their phone. And we only launched this product in February, actually on February the 14th, Valentine's Day. And today we have 6 branches. We have physical branches, 6 branches. And we are serving just under 2,000 businesses. So in that short period of time, the impact has been good. And we're encouraged that we need to continue to do this because we are assisting micro and small businesses especially in an effort to grow. And we rely on the expertise that we have had for a long time. And that expertise, which comes from being an integrator, an aggregator, a software developer, everything that we're doing is in-house, and we're able to look and react as quickly as possible to the needs of those customers. So when we go out there and we sit with them and try to understand what it is that they are going through and what they need us to do to improve, we don't need to speak to anybody else. We can literally come back and say that through our experience, we can create whatever it is that is required in order to make the product more attractive for that particular customer. So I would say that flagship now is slowly becoming the credit side, and especially credit side with the mostly or underbanked population. Over the last, I would say 4 or 5 years of doing the credit side of the business, including the new one that we have just started, I would say that we have put in maybe $1 million So it's $1 million that is circulating into that system of credit. When it comes to the groups, for example, I think we have impacted something like just under 100 groups over the period of time that we have been working with them. But if you look at these 100 groups, they have anywhere between 30 and 200 members. So if you were to take an average and multiply it by about 100, it would give you how many individuals have maybe benefited from the monies that we have given. If you go to Fort Portal, the farmers that were in the program when we started doing the program last year were 700 potato farmers. Out of the organization that actually does it has 3,000 farmers, of whom they're trying to give a cash crop that can be harvested a lot faster than coffee, so that they're able to wait for the timelines or for the seasons of the coffee. So in the last disbursement that we did for those farmers there, we're talking about 700 farmers. And that's going to grow because we have to go to 3,000, to almost 3,000 farmers. And even those 3,000 farmers are also growing. But yes, I would say that in that particular area, 700. But here, since February, we're just at around 1,908 businesses that we have impacted since February. And like I said, with each one taking anywhere between 200 and 3 million shillings. Once the group has provided us with KYC, we have a timeline within which we must disburse the money. And for those ones, it is 12 hours from the time that it is approved. That's 12 hours, because that particular one requires a little bit more KYC than you would ordinarily have, because you're dealing with many members. When it comes to disbursing, for example, for the potato farmers in Fort Portal, all the information that we require has already been provided by the Apex organization, because these farmers are known to them. So as soon as they say to us that these are the farmers that are supposed to be, it's easily accessible to them to come and to the store and collect whatever, because in that instance it's actually inputs, it's not actual money. And we give them vouchers. They have QR vouchers, and those QR vouchers, once brought to the warehouse, will be verified using an app. But they can also use SMS to make that order, to ensure that they get the implements that they require. 90% of the people that we serve, yes, have feature phones. They don't have smartphones. So we have provided a USSD channel for them to be able to access the service, number one. Number two, it's also on an app for those that have. Number three, a loan is disbursed within seconds of you asking for the loan, yes, because we have a platform behind that will vet and say, okay, this particular client is good to receive a certain amount of money. So that's almost instantaneously from the time that they hit the button yes on the USSD. They will get SMS notifications at every stage, whether it is to tell them that the money has been deposited into their mobile money account, or to tell them that it is time to pay the money, or to remind them that we're still there for them. So we try to have this rapport with them. So yes, in terms of allowing them to use feature phones, it is very, very much part of our program. And it is our hope that in time, we will be able to scale them up by providing them with smartphones. But I know that takes time, but we would like to be there with them on that journey as they transition right from the feature phone to the smartphone. As FinTechs, the industry has only, maybe I should say, the industry is still quite young now. As pioneers, we were alone. We were fighting this fight alone. But today, with the many associations that are there, even the banking industry is starting to recognize that we are required. And the challenges that we see is the difference between, you find that the telcos are going to become competitors of ours. You find that the banks are also becoming competitors of ours. And so that becomes a challenge because in many cases they may have more resources than we have. That is a challenge, I think. But then we have to be resilient. We've got examples of very resilient and very fast-growing FinTechs across Africa. And I think that as we continue, we're going to see niches within Uganda that will allow some FinTechs to really, really take off. And that could be in anything. You've got your credit side of the business, you've got your payment side of the business, you've got insured tech, you've got, there's there's quite a lot. And then there's a lot of buzz around how can cryptocurrencies and blockchain also help to create niches within our industry as well. But it's difficult to say in which direction it's going to go exactly. But I think that the effort that is being put in is going to really, really assist us and a lot of other FinTechs to grow exponentially. To find out more about what True African is doing, you can log on to our website on www.trueafrican.com, or you can visit our offices, which are in Nakawa Business Park.
40 Days 40 FinTechs is presented in proud partnership with Crossleg Technologies, Modus Box, Moduloop Foundation, and Level 1 Projects.